Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that there are several new movies coming out this year that look absolutely amazing. I'm excited to tell you about them. In fact, let's go ahead and get started with, I'll say, the movie I'm the second most hyped for in 2025. Weapons, directed by Zach Cregger, starring Julia Garner and Josh Brolin. Marketing for this movie so far, phenomenal. The very first snippets that popped up showed up on my Twitter feed the day of. I don't know how they did it. Well, I do know how they did it. They went viral instantly, and the hype just blew up. The reason why the hype just blew up right away is because the snippets that they dropped were just so creepy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, before the Weapons official trailer dropped or a synopsis was officially confirmed, there was this Twitter page that just started posting these quick little home recording security camera footage videos of children either running through the neighborhood or running through the street. But they were running in such a uncanny way. There was no sound, there was no caption besides #weapons movie, and it was just so ominous. And the fact that these snippets were filmed in a very realistic found footage way with the security cameras, it just made it all really eerie. And then the synopsis comes out and the plot gets confirmed, and the plot of this movie is one night at 2 a.m., several children from the same classroom, but they're obviously all over town. It's 2 a.m. They're at their house. They get out of bed, they leave their houses in the creepy, uncanny way that the snippets showed us, and they just vanish with no trace left behind and no explanation as to why they did it. And that's fucking awesome. Intriguing mystery already sounds sinister, and the fact that it involves children, it just adds a natural spike of eeriness to it all. In the official trailer that dropped, it did confirm the eeriness. This movie does look awesome, but I don't want to have my hopes up for this impossibly high expectation where the movie will just flop because of the amazing marketing, kind of like what happened with Longlegs last year. Great movie, but obviously the marketing just made me think we're gonna get the modern day Shining. But I can't help myself, I'm sorry, the marketing is working. I am unbelievably hyped for Weapons. It's also the same director of Barbarian, one of my favorite horror movies of 2022, which is saying something because that year had an amazing lineup for horror movies. So yeah, like I said, this is my second most anticipated film of the year. I'll be talking about my number one later on in the video, but Weapons, we will be there. Sat and seated. For my next film I'm super excited for is The Smashing Machine, directed by Benny Safdie, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I love the Safdie brothers. Benny and Josh Safdie are some of the few newer directors to create movies with such a strong, distinct, unique style. I say newer, but I know they've been making movies since like 2008, but still, I feel like recently their style has been polished and basically perfected, especially with their last two movies, Uncut Gems and Good Time. So you know, that mid to late 2010s era, I consider their peers to be Ari Aster, Jordan Peele, Jeremy Saulnier. You know a Safdie brothers movie if you've seen one. The intense, anxiety-inducing pacing and editing, the constant close-up, almost claustrophobic cinematography, the electronic synthwave score, following characters of the middle and lower class, deconstruction of the American dream, drugs, usually fast-paced and chaotic. Some people love this style, like me. Some people hate it, like my mom. I love this style. I love directors with a strong, distinct vision, and the Safdie brothers have that. However, this is not a Safdie brothers film, this is a Benny Safdie film. Josh Safdie written and directed a solo film, The Pleasure of Being Robbed, from 2008. However, since then, I believe every movie he's made has been co-directed with his brother, Benny. And I believe this movie, The Smashing Machine, is Benny's solo directorial debut. So that alone is exciting, to see what kind of movie Benny Safdie's gonna make with just his mind, just his vision. And what's more exciting is what this movie is about. It's a biopic following UFC legend Mark Kerr, and if you know me, my friends, my family will tell you, one of my biggest obsessions is the UFC. My first obsession is always going to be movies, but right under it, like a hair, is my love for MMA, specifically the UFC. In fact, as I'm recording this, Corey Sandhagen is fighting Davison Figueiredo tonight. I got my money on Corey the Sandman Sandhagen, so if he loses, that'll be quite embarrassing to admit and put in this video. Post recording, I'm in the middle of editing, just wanted to say, booyah, I was right, Sandman won. But yeah, I'm super excited. This is two of my favorite worlds coming together, the UFC and movies. I mean, look at this. Look at this shit, y'all. Look at this. Look at that. Look at the GOAT. This is more than a sport to me. So yeah, we will be sat and seated, and from the looks of the trailer, we could be looking at The Rock's first Oscar nom, which I know we all know the Oscars mean jack shit, but still, that is pretty exciting, pretty cool for The Rock. I am hyped. I mean, it's two of my favorite worlds coming together, the UFC and movies, and it's from a director who I'm pretty sure I can trust. He's made so many hits, but they have been co-directed. I'm excited to see what he got. Now for the next 2025 film I'm excited for is the other Safdie brothers solo project, Marty Supreme, directed by Josh Safdie, starring Timothée Chalamet. So Josh Safdie is also expected to drop his solo film this year, which if I'm correct, he, like I said earlier, he hasn't done since 2008. As I'm recording this, there has not been a trailer released yet. Really, the only thing we know is the plot summary and a few behind the scenes photos that have been released. This movie, just like The Smashing Machine, is going to be a biopic. This one will be loosely based on the life of Marty Reisman, a professional table tennis player. And yeah, that's really all I know about Marty Supreme. I'm excited to watch this movie because one, Josh Safdie, love his work, and with Benny also dropping his movie this year, we could kind of get to see which brother has the sauce, so to speak. And it also has Timothée Chalamet, who I think is a great actor. I love his mindset. That speech he did a few months ago where he said some shit like, I love acting, I want to go down as one of the greatest to ever do it. I say this humbly as I can, but I'm going to keep getting better and strive for greatness. I love that mindset. I think it's so good, especially for an art medium like movies, where most people, for no reason at all, just don't talk like that or don't even seem to have that type of energy. Timothy does have some flops here and there, but his filmography does show that he's willing to be risky and he wants to have a variety, which I respect. I think history has shown us that the best actors have a wide variety of many different types of performances in many different types of films. And for him to be as famous and as successful as he already is, and to show that he's still hungrier more than ever it seems like, yeah, this kid, let me tell you, this kid is special, and we will be there, front row and seated, to see him as Marty Reisman, to see him as Marty Supreme. Now let's talk about easily what's going to be the biggest, should be the biggest movie of the year that's on this list. Superman, directed by James Gunn, starring David Corenswet and Nicholas Hoult. Corenswet, did I pronounce that right? Look how it's spelled. What the fuck? David Corenswet. Okay, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He's Superman. Now, admittedly, I am not the biggest MCU fan, but I wouldn't call myself an MCU hater. Actually, I kind of would. Not because I'm some fucking geek that's like, oh, it's got to be A24, I can't watch it. I like some of the Marvel movies. I like Civil War. Civil War was great. Infinity War was peak. They haven't made a movie better or as good since, including Endgame. Endgame is nowhere near Infinity War. I don't mind saying that they have hits, but they are a quantity over quality company, and I think it's fair to say that they have released more mid to dog shit movies rather than great to amazing ones over the past almost 2 decades just off numbers alone. But that being said, the DCEU compared to Marvel the last 10 to 15 years, a joke. Just dog shit movie after dog shit movie. Horrible planning, failed attempt at a cinematic universe. It really does make you appreciate Marvel, at least pre-Endgame Marvel. I've seen Thunderbolts, review should be up shortly. After a decade of just bad reviews and declining box office numbers, the DCEU decided, hey, let's hire a guy with talent. Let's hire a guy who knows how to write characters, who knows how to write a fun, interesting, coherent story. And they found that guy. That guy is James Gunn. James Gunn is the man behind the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, the Suicide Squad, the good one, and many other independent films that he's made. And now he is taking on Superman. Do I believe James Gunn can save the DCEU? Maybe this is the restart that they needed. The trailer does look promising. It does look good. I really like the direction and the feeling that it was going for. It's been quite a long time since we've gotten a great Superman film. I like James Gunn, I like his movies, and I think he can do this. I think he can pull off a good Superman movie. I mean, just look at this image. Look at Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. How can you not say this is gonna be peak? Okay, now, for the movie I am most excited for, easily by a mile this year, my most hyped movie of 2025, I got One Battle After Another, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Teyana Taylor. Paul Thomas Anderson, PTA. Well, here's a PSA. This guy's the GOAT. Oh, fuck, that was cringe. Oh, God. The 90s was such a fantastic place for film. So many great directors came out, and still Paul Thomas Anderson stands above most with one of the best filmographies ever. And he is responsible for making my personal favorite film of all time, There Will Be Blood from 2007. That is the greatest movie I've ever seen, and you know PTA is a crazy director when you have so many people arguing that there are movies in his catalog that are arguably better than There Will Be Blood. I wouldn't make that dumb shit argument, but I respect people who do, because PTA, he's that guy. The praise I just given Paul Thomas Anderson, you can obviously tell why I'm hyped for this movie. I mean, I'm hyped for anything he does. His last film he did, Licorice Pizza from 2021, that was one of my favorites, if not my favorite movie of that year. I gotta look to see and remember what else came out from 2021, but I'm confident in saying and knowing it's top 3 of that year. Like, he still has it, and the trailer for One Battle After Another, surprise, surprise, looks amazing. It's shot on 35mm using VistaVision cameras, sort of similar to that one movie that came out last year that did make my top 20 video. So if you want to watch my top 20 films of 2024, it's on my channel if you want to know what my taste in movies are. Here's a hint, The Brutalist is in the top 5, spoiler alert. So yeah, 35mm VistaVision. This movie is gonna look beautiful. You can already tell the trailer that it is looking beautiful. The trailer had me so pumped. Like, I usually don't like trailers because they give away way too much. I always try to avoid them, but I'm constantly in the theaters, so I'm constantly looking at trailers. Sometimes they'll even pop up on my Twitter. I'll try to avoid them, but for PTA, I had to see what was happening. I had to see what he was cooking, and let me tell you, he is cooking. He is going to cook. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a 10 out of 10 coming up. The score, oh my god, the score at the trailer with the piano. Jonny Greenwood is back. Jonny Greenwood, for those who don't know, is a musician in the band Radiohead, which is my favorite band of all time. They have collabed time and time again, Jonny Greenwood and PTA. He did the music for There Will Be Blood, my favorite movie of all time. So no surprise that that is one of my favorite scores of all time. And now he's doing the music again for One Battle After Another. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, masterpiece. This will be a masterpiece. Alright, y'all, just a few more to talk about. I'm gonna run through them because I've just been yapping and yapping. I'm gonna get through some of the more popular ones, and then I'll start naming the ones that you may have not heard of, the ones that are most likely gonna be lesser known. Alright, let's go ahead and start talking with probably gonna be one of the biggest hits of the summer, 28 Years Later, directed by Danny Boyle, starring Jodie Comer, Ray Fiennes, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. Awesome looking horror movie. This is one of the trailers where the film actually makes the horror movie look not only promising, but legitimately scary. This will be the third film in the 28 Days trilogy. I really did like the first one. I have yet to see the second one, 28 Weeks Later. I know I will be watching that one before watching 28 Years Later, and I'll probably be doing obviously a 28 years review, but I'll probably be doing the entire trilogy, to be honest. But yeah, also Danny Boyle's back at directing, also returning as Alex Garland, screenwriter of the original, so this is pretty interesting to see. The same exact director and writer duo of the first film, they are back for the third. And just remembering how good the first one is, I'm hyped. Next movie I'm here to talk about is an action film coming, I think, right around the corner, Ballerina, directed by Len Wiseman, starring Ana de Armas and Keanu Reeves. I probably pronounced the name incorrectly. Sorry. I'm gonna be honest. I am interested in this movie. I'm hoping it's good. It doesn't look good based off the trailer, but I am, like I said, hoping because I absolutely do love the John Wick films. This is a John Wick spin-off. That trailer, man, it's just... This is a spin-off with a different director. There's nothing here to indicate that this will be amazing like John Wick, but I mean, let's just get some cool, fun action sequences. That's really all we need. And I think Lance Reddick is going to be in this movie, or at least a cameo, so that'll be nice to see him again. Of course, R.I.P. Lance, R.I.P. the guy. That will forever be my Lieutenant Cedric Daniels. Next movie I'm hyped for, Caught Stealing, directed by Darren Aronofsky, starring Austin Butler and Matt Smith. Darren Aronofsky is the madman behind Black Swan, Requiem for a Dream, Pi, and all these other batshit movies he's done. That alone is why I'm excited for this film. Now, there's no trailer for this one yet. Only a few behind the scenes photos have been released, and well, just take a look for yourself. They are quite interesting, to say the least. All I know is Austin Butler is going to be in this, along, of course, with Matt Smith, and I will be there. Speaking of Austin Butler and insane men making insane movies, Eddington, directed by Ari Aster, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone, and Austin Butler. This movie is expected to drop, I think, this summer. Ari Aster, the director of Hereditary, Midsommar, Beau's Afraid. This guy is loved by many, hated by a few, those few being very loud film Twitter accounts that really want us to know that he's a hack. I disagree. I like the guy. It's inarguable that over the last 10 years, there's not a whole lot of horror movies that can say that they are as influential as Hereditary. And that was his debut. I thought Beau's Afraid was okay. It was good in some areas. I'd probably like it a lot more on a rewatch. I do love the play scene. That's probably one of my favorite Ari Aster scenes ever. My favorite movie of his would probably be the Midsommar director's cut. I love that version. Speaking of which, this bad boy right here. Phenomenal movie. If you've seen the original, this movie has so many scenes that just make the film much more complete. I think Hereditary is scarier, but I think this is just a better film overall. Very interesting filmmaker. Every one of his films get the people talking, whether it's a good talk or a bad talk. I'm sure everybody is going to be talking and have an opinion about this film, especially with this film, I believe, taking place during the pandemic. So get ready to hear some points being made. Alright, next film, Together, directed by Michael Shanks, starring Dave Franco and Alison Brie. This is a body horror movie, and unfortunately every single body horror movie gets compared to Cronenberg, or it's Cronenbergian or some shit like that. Like just recently, The Ugly Stepsister was marketed as that. Just because you're a body horror movie doesn't mean I don't see the comparison. I mean, obviously on the surface level, Cronenberg did a lot of body horror, but so many directors, so many movies have played with body horror. There are more things to talk about a Cronenberg film than just body horror. And I swear I'm not being a contrarian. The Ugly Stepsister has really nothing to do with Cronenberg. But either way, I digress. Don't let me get too off topic. The trailer for this movie did look cool. I heard it was weird. I like weird shit. I like body horror. So we're gonna see if this movie has it. Another movie I heard about is Good Boy, directed by Ben Leonberg, starring Larry Fessenden and Ariel Friedman. This is a horror movie shot entirely in the POV of a dog. And that's all I know about it. And that's all I need to know about it to be interested and excited for it. Now for these last few movies, I found them in the Cannes Film Festival lineup. And of course, there are a lot of French directors in this list, so I'm about to butcher a fuck ton of names. I don't know any of their plots. The only reason why I'm mentioning them is because I'm a fan of their works, so obviously I'm intrigued by what their new film's gonna be. Again, I apologize for my pronunciations. I am unfortunately American. Alpha, directed by Julia Ducournau. Oof, we're gonna try that again. Okay, I just looked it up. Apparently it's pronounced Ducournau. Look, listen.
Julia Ducournau.
Alpha, directed by Julia Ducournau. That didn't sound, well, I mean, the same woman behind Titan and Raw. We are hyped for this one. Sentimental Value, directed by Joachim Trier. Die, My Love, directed by Lynn Ramsey. New Wave, directed by Richard Linklater. And The Phoenician Scheme, directed by Wes Anderson. Also, quick shout out to film god Neil Breen, the man behind scenes like this.
I don't want to fight with you. I want to help you. I want to help you. Look at me, kid.
And this.
Follow me. They can't hurt me. You won't get hurt. Follow me.
The modern day Alfred Hitchcock, Neil Breen, is rumored to have another film coming out this year. So that's obviously something to, let's hope that happens. Also, I totally forgot, but Bring Her Back is coming, I think, at the end of this month. The two directors, I forget their names, but they debuted with Talk to Me a few years ago. I really like Talk to Me. Their next film, Bring Her Back, is coming out very soon. I heard already amazing things about it. So we are hyped for that movie as well. All right, everybody, that does it for my most anticipated films of 2025. Again, thank you to everybody who watched, and a big thank you to the ones who subscribed. Again, the goal is to reach 1,000 subs by summertime. I think we can do it, but either way, I'm grateful. I'm working on the A24 bracket as we speak, along with the Thunderbolts review, which should be either coming out before this video goes up or a little bit after. Either way, it'll come up soon. And be ready for the Final Destination movie. I will be doing a ranking of the first 5 films, maybe even the 6th one. I don't know. Either way, I'm watching all the Final Destination movies as we speak. I'll be doing something big with that franchise soon, but be ready for that review coming out as soon as the movie drops. I'm seeing it opening night on Thursday. All right, everybody, that does it for this video. I will see you at the next one.